There is a quiet hum beneath the surface of every life, a frequency most learn to ignore. It is the sound of our own attachments, the countless invisible threads that connect our sense of self to people, to outcomes, to ideas of how things should be. We are born into a world that teaches us to weave these threads, to build a web of connections so dense it finally becomes a cage. We are told that to feel deeply is to live deeply, and so we knot our peace to the actions of others, our worth to transient successes, our happiness to fragile circumstances. We become architects of our own suffering, mistaking the web for the structure of life itself. But there exists another way of being, a set of unspoken rules, understood not through social decree, but through the quiet, often painful observation of how life actually works. This is not about becoming cold or indifferent or less human. It is about becoming more sane. It is the practice of emotional detachment, a profound and misunderstood art. It is the slow, deliberate process of learning to hold everything lightly. To understand detachment, we must first see the prison clearly. From our earliest moments, we are conditioned to seek validation as a form of emotional sustenance. A parent's approving smile, a teacher's gold star, the laughter of peers at a joke. These become the first currencies in an economy of the self. We learn that our internal state is negotiable, something that can be raised or lowered by external feedback. This conditioning is so complete, so seamless, that we cease to recognize it as conditioning. We believe it is simply how life is. We grow into adults who hand the remote control of our inner world to employers, to lovers, to strangers on the internet, to the arbitrary flow of daily events. We believe that if we can just arrange the external pieces correctly, the right relationship, the right job, the right recognition, then and only then can we permit ourselves to be at peace. This is the great lie of attachment. It promises security, but manufactures perpetual insecurity. For the moment you attach your peace to something outside of you, you have made it hostage to a universe of variables you cannot possibly control. The first unspoken rule is this: you are not your feelings. You are the one who observes them. This simple shift in perspective is the foundation of everything that follows. A storm of anger is not you. It is a weather pattern passing through the sky of your awareness. A deep sorrow is not your identity. It is a profound, temporary visitor. We conflate the experience with the experiencer, and in doing so, we drown in the waves. To detach is to learn to sit on the shore. It is to notice the thought that arises. This situation is unbearable, and to understand that this too is merely a thought, a sentence your mind has generated, not an eternal truth. It has a beginning, and it will have an end. Emotional detachment begins with this act of ruthless classification. This is a feeling, that is a thought, here is a sensation. I am the space in which these phenomena appear. From this space, you gain a leverage point. You are no longer a puppet jerked about by every internal string. You become the one who can, with time and practice, feel the pull of the string and choose not to dance. This leads to the second rule. Most emotional suffering is not caused by the event, but by your resistance to the event. Pain is inevitable in a life that involves loss, change, and other conscious beings with free will. Suffering, however, is optional. Suffering is the secondary layer we add to the pain. It is the story we tell about it, the repetitive mental commentary, the denial, the rage against the reality of what has happened. When someone betrays you, the initial pain of broken trust is sharp and real. The suffering is what comes next, the months or years of replaying the scene, the fantasies of confrontation, the narrative of yourself as a perpetual victim, the bitterness that colors every new interaction. Detachment is not about not feeling the initial, clean pain. It is about refusing to build a home in the subsequent, self-constructed hell of suffering. It is about saying, this happened, it hurts. Now, what is the next conscious step? It is the cessation of the war with reality. For reality always wins. Your resistance only burns your own energy, leaving you exhausted and defeated by a battle that was only ever with yourself. Consider your relationships. The third rule of detachment in this realm is love is not ownership and care is not control. Our culture sells a distorted image of love as a fusion of two selves, a loss of boundaries, a promise that the other person will become the foundation of our happiness. This is a recipe for mutual destruction. To attach your emotional stability to the mood, choices, or presence of another human being is to give them a power they never asked for and cannot healthily wield. It turns love into a tense transaction. I will be okay as long as you behave in the manner I require. Detached love says, I care for you deeply, and my peace is my own responsibility. It means watching a loved one make a choice you disagree with and feeling the fear, the disappointment perhaps, but not interpreting their choice as an act of war against your soul. It is understanding that you cannot walk another person's path for them, and that your attempts to do so, born of attachment masquerading as concern, are a form of subtle ego, the belief that you know what is best for their journey. This detachment is the highest form of respect. It says, you are a free universe, and I am a free universe. Let us orbit each other in wonder, not demand that we become the same star.
This applies with brutal clarity to endings. The fourth rule: when something leaves your life, whether by choice or by circumstance, your primary task is not to understand why, but to accept that it has. The attached mind becomes an archaeologist of ruin, digging endlessly through the past for the one shard of explanation that will make the pain make sense. If I could just understand why they left, why the opportunity vanished, why the illness struck, then I could find peace. This is an illusion. Even if you were handed a perfect divine transcript of reasons, the absence would remain. The hole in your life would still be a hole. Detachment bypasses the futile quest for perfect understanding and moves directly to the raw, unadorned fact. It is gone. This acceptance is not passive resignation. It is the most active and courageous step. It is the act of turning your face fully toward the emptiness and saying, this is what is here now. Only from that solid ground of acceptance can any genuine rebuilding begin. The energy you would have spent on a decade of rumination is instead available slowly for the construction of what comes next. There is a deep connection between detachment and personal power. The fifth rule: your reaction is your only true domain. You control almost nothing in the external world. Other people's thoughts, the fluctuations of the economy, the weather, the passage of time, these are vast, indifferent forces. The attached person rages against this, feeling victimized by every unfavorable wind. The detached person has made a sober audit of reality and identified the one tiny, sovereign kingdom they actually rule, their own inner response. This is not a small kingdom. It is everything. Your response is the filter through which you experience the entire world. Two people lose their jobs. One spirals into a story of total ruin and unworthiness. The other feels the fear, the practical worry, but responds with, "This is a difficult fact. Now I will assess my resources and take the next step." The event is identical. The reality of the lost paycheck is identical. The experienced life is utterly different. Detachment is the maintenance of this sovereignty. It is the daily practice of recalling yourself to your own citadel when the world tries to storm the gates. It is knowing that while they can take your job, your status, even your freedom, no one can ever force you to give them your inner stance unless you willingly hand over the keys. We must confront the shadow here. Detachment is often mistaken for avoidance. This is a critical distinction, the sixth rule. Detachment feels like clear, calm awareness. Avoidance feels like tense, busy distraction. The avoider cannot bear to look at the painful thing, so they flee into work, into entertainment, into substance, into new dramas. The pain is buried, where it festers and leaks out as chronic anxiety, unexplained anger, or a pervasive numbness. The detached person, in contrast, turns directly toward the pain. They look at it with a steady, non-judgmental gaze. They feel its texture, its weight, its temperature. They allow it to be present without weaving a catastrophic story around it. They do not run, because they know that what you resist persists. What you fully acknowledge without adding to it begins to lose its power. It becomes a simple fact, like a rock in a field, instead of a monster in the closet. Avoidance is fear disguised as action. Detachment is courage disguised as stillness.
This practice extends to your own mind. The seventh rule: you are not obliged to believe every thought you have. The attached mind treats its own thoughts as sacred edicts, as absolute truth. I am a failure, it thinks, and the whole person collapses under the weight of that sentence. The detached mind observes the thought, I am having the thought that I am a failure. It sees the thought as a leaf floating down a stream. It may be there, but you are not the leaf, and you are not obliged to pluck it out and build a monument to it. Most of our most painful thoughts are repetitive, ancient recordings. They are not insightful commentary on the present moment. They are the ghosts of past wounds. Detachment allows you to break the spell of identification. You can hear the thought without becoming its servant. This creates a profound psychological freedom. The mental noise continues, the worries, the judgments, the fantasies, but it becomes background static. You are no longer the radio announcer passionately narrating every piece of static. You are the person in another room, aware of the noise, but focused on something else entirely. There is an inevitable social consequence to this inner shift, which forms the eighth rule. As you detach, you will become less relatable to those who are deeply attached, and this will feel like loneliness. Our social bonds are often forged in the mutual exchange of emotional chaos. We bond over shared complaints, over dramatized problems, over the constant negotiation of validation. Can you believe what they did? I'm such a mess. Tell me I'm good enough. When you begin to withdraw from this economy, when you stop feeding the dramas and cease requiring constant reassurance, you step out of a familiar dance. To others still dancing, your calm can feel like rejection. Your refusal to be pulled into their storm can feel like coldness. Your self-containment can feel like a wall. This is a temporary, necessary loneliness. It is the space created when an old, noisy way of connecting falls away, and before a new, quieter, more authentic form of connection has been established. It is in this silence that you discover who you are without the reflected opinions of others. And eventually, you will find or attract others who also value this quieter frequency. The connections you form from this place will be fewer, but they will be built on substance, not shared neuroses. This touches on the ninth rule. Detachment is the prerequisite for genuine compassion. This seems paradoxical. We are taught that compassion requires intense emotional involvement, a kind of merging with another's pain. But that is often sympathy or empathy without boundaries, and it leads to burnout and codependency. True compassion is a clear-eyed, loving action that does not require you to drown with the drowning person. The attached helper needs the other person to get better, to validate their help, to provide a story of rescue. Their help is contingent on a certain outcome. The detached helper sees the suffering, feels a sincere wish to alleviate it, offers what they can, and then releases the outcome. They understand that the other person's healing is their own journey. They can hold space without taking on the poison. They can be a calm, steady presence precisely because their own emotional state is not tied to the volatile state of the one they are helping. This is compassionate detachment.
It allows you to serve from a place of overflow, not depletion. It is love without chains, care without an agenda.
We arrive then at a subtle 10th rule. Detach even from the concept of detachment. This is the final safeguard against the spiritual ego. The mind, in its endless cleverness, can take any good tool and turn it into a new identity. I am a detached person. This becomes just another attachment, another story, another way to feel superior to those who are still attached. You begin to police your own feelings, rejecting natural human grief or joy as too attached. This is a corruption of the entire endeavor. The goal is not to become an emotionless monolith. The goal is fluidity, to feel the full, brilliant, messy range of human emotion, but to never be glued to any one state. To let joy wash through you without clinging to it, knowing it will pass. To let sadness sit with you without believing it is your permanent address. Detachment is the art of non-clinging. If you cling to non-clinging, you have missed the point entirely. It is a practice, not an achievement, a direction, not a destination. We have laid the groundwork. We have examined the prison of attachment and the first principles of stepping outside its walls. We have seen how this applies to feelings, to pain, to love, to loss, to power. We have distinguished it from its shadow, avoidance, and begun to see its social and compassionate implications. But this is only the map. The territory is lived. It is in the 10,000 daily moments where the old hooks of attachment seek to snag you, in the flash of anger when traffic stalls, in the knot of anxiety before a meeting, in the longing for a past that is gone, in the fear of a future that may never come. It is there, in the micro-operations of the mind, that the real work of detachment is done, not in grand declarations, but in the quiet, relentless return to the observer within, to the space that holds all things but is possessed by none.